In this video I'm going to show you how to take off the cassette and swap it out. So right here we have a bike that has the cassette on here. So what you're going to notice is this is going to rotate to the right or clockwise. One of the things you're going to have to do is take off the quick release skier. So we're just going to take this off here. Before we're going to get really into taking off the rear cassette, I'm probably just going to throw some gloves on just because you do have to touch the rear cassette when you are swapping it out. You're going to need a cassette tool as well as a chain whip. Because the reason why you want a chain whip to take off the rear cassette is so when we're going to stick the tool in here, you know, lefty-loosey, righty-tighty, loosening this off to the left here. The problem is we're trying to loosen this bolt off, but we're spinning with it. So what this chain whip does is it prevents it from rotating to the left. So pretty much what you're going to do is you're going to drape this chain whip onto the end there, and then you're going to see it catching. And then what we're going to do is we're going to grip it on this other side. So now when we rotate this to the left, it doesn't spin with it. So what I like to do is you know, grab the tool here, any sock or anything else like that, and then you're just going to push down and then rotate this to the left. Once you've cracked the top cap, you're just going to loosen this off all the way, put this to the side, take off the chain whip. I'm going to grab the rear cassette and just slide this off. And then you have the cassette off, and then you would grab the new cassette, throw it back on, but I'm just going to show you how to throw it back on. One thing you're going to notice is you're going to see on the rear cassette here, these notches here. Eventually what you're going to see is you're going to see one of these small little grooves, because each one of these are going to be the exact same size. So you're going to notice that one of these are a little bit narrower, as well as you have a channel that's a little bit wider than all the rest. So on the rear cassette itself, we'll split up into multiple pieces. Keep them handy, make sure that they don't drop on the floor. But one thing you're going to notice on the rear cassette is eventually you're going to find that small little notch, as well as that wide little groove there. So what you're going to do is you're going to find that groove on the rear cassette here, put it towards you preferred, and you're just going to find that groove, and then you're just going to slide it on. Just because it will not go on any other way until you find that actual groove itself. Instead of doing like this little rotate to find it, it's easy just to find the small groove, stick it on there, and then just throw it on. So on this one right here, find the small groove, stick it on the top there, slide it on. Very handy when you start getting into the individual cogs. The spacers typically aren't directional, and you can really throw these on anywhere you want. And then just grab the cog, find the groove, spacer. You always want a spacer in between each cog until you get to the end. We'll just keep throwing these on. Again, find the groove. That one's backwards. So obviously very important that you find the groove. Pretty obvious when it is backwards. Even if you find the groove, it's not going to go on. So rotate the cog around, stick it on there, spacer, and then one more, and making sure it's not backwards, stick it on there. So one thing you're going to notice is these are a little bit thicker, so these actually have that spacer built in on it. Then we're just going to find that groove, stick it on. The last one's going to be the hardest one just because you typically can't see the groove if it is facing towards you, so sometimes you can do the back side and then just get the small groove there. And then making sure that when you are looking at it that it is flat in reference to the actual end cap itself, just because if you do put it on crooked, you can see it's not exactly flat, just because I did miss the groove. So making sure everything's perfectly flat, and then what you're going to do is you're going to grab the end cap here, with here, and then just finger tighten it on. And then once you get it relatively tight, you no longer need a chain whip to reinstall it. Then you're just going to grab your tool here and just rotate it around. And then just putting, you know, a little bit of pressure on it, 40 Newton meters, or you can just kind of tighten it by hand until it becomes, you know, quite a bit of resistance on there, and that's really all you need. And then you're good to go.